Lord Vishnu, the preserver of the universe, incarnates on earth whenever evil goes unchecked to restore worldly order. Of his 10 primary incarnations, called the Dashavatar, the 6th is the Parashuram Avatar. Let's see why. Kartavirya Arjun, the king of the Haihaya dynasty, performed severe penance and received 1,000 arms as a boon from sage Dattatreya, which is why he is also called Sahasra Bahu Arjun. He also received the boon of unobstructed sensory power, beauty, influence, strength, fame, and mystic power. Using all of these, he roamed the universe with pride and arrogance, wreaking havoc upon the 3 worlds. When the Devas ran for protection, Lord Vishnu promised them that he would slay Kartavirya Arjun in due course of time. On earth, there lived a virtuous ruler, Gadhi, who had resigned to living in the forest peacefully with his wife and his daughter Satyavati. An old sage named Richika asked for Satyavati's hand in marriage. Gadhi laid a condition by his family custom that any groom intending to marry a daughter of the family would have to offer a gift of 1,000 brown horses, which had one single black ear. Richika asked Lord Varun for his help, who gave him the horses, and with that he married Satyavati. He wanted a son who would have all the good Brahmin qualities to become a great saint. He prepared a concoction for Satyavati to drink to conceive such a child. Satyavati requested a potion for her mother too. So Richika prepared another concoction to give her mother so that she has a son who has all the qualities of a good Kshatriya warrior. But Satyavati's mother thought that the potion he gave Satyavati must be better, since that is for his own son, and swapped them without Satyavati's knowledge. When both women drank the potion meant for the other, Richika realized the truth by virtue of his tapas power. He told Satyavati that she will now have a son who will be a Brahmin by birth, but will have a character that would be suitable to a military order, and that her mother will have a son who will be a Kshatriya by birth, but who will assume a life suitable to a saint. Satyavati requested him to change it back, but the best he could do was delay the effect by a generation. So instead of Satyavati's son, her grandson will be born with the qualities of a warrior. In due time, Satyavati gave birth to Jamdagni, who grew in strength and excelled the other saints in his proficiency. He was easily able to learn the military art and other related subjects. He married Princess Renuka, and they had 5 sons. The youngest of them was Parashuram, the 6th avatar of Lord Vishnu, born as a Brahmin with the qualities of a warrior. Under the guidance of his father, he was able to learn the knowledge of all the military skills, and his true warrior capability, he was able to master them. After many years, once Renuka went to the banks of river Ganga to fetch some water for the ashram, and she happened to see the king of Gandharvas in the water in the company of Apsaras. Completely captivated and enchanted, she stood there watching the king, enjoying himself. A lot of time passed by and she failed to remember that she had to be back in the ashram for her daily rituals that Jamdagni performed. She returned to the ashram. Her husband, by virtue of his divine powers, identified the adultery in her mind and accordingly instructed his sons to kill her. But the first 4 sons, blinded by their maternal love, refused to execute his order. Infuriated with their insolence, the sage then asked his youngest, Parashuram, to kill his mother for her sin and his brothers for the disobedience. Knowing fully well the divine powers of his father by virtue of his penance and austerities, Parashuram immediately obeyed the orders and killed his mother and brothers. Pleased with his son's obedience, Jamdagni offered him 2 boons, and Parashuram asked his father to bring back his mother and brothers back to life and not remember having been killed by him. Thus he was able to both obey his father's orders as well as save his family. On one hunting trip in the forest, Kartavirya Arjun was near Jamdagni's ashram. The sage received the king and his entourage and supplied all the necessities from Kamadhenu, the celestial cow. Hearing about the magical powers of the cow, the rude king wanted it for himself as he considered the holy man more powerful and wealthy by virtue of having it in his ashram. Since he relied on the cow to perform his daily prayers and rituals, he politely refused to part with the cow. Enraged by this, the king ordered his men to steal the cow and her calf and take them to his capital city. When Parshuram returned to the ashram, he heard about what happened and was enraged. In his anger, he took an axe and a few other weapons and set off in the direction of the capital city of the king. When the king was just about to reach his capital city, he noticed Parshuram pursuing him and immediately dispatched 17 army divisions to defeat him. But Parshuram had all the qualities of a good Kshatriya warrior and was able to defeat them quite easily. Then Kartavirya Arjun, with his 1,000 arms, took up 500 bows simultaneously, strung arrows in all of them, and unleashed them towards Parshuram. Parshuram cut down all the arrows, as well as the bows, with one divine arrow. Undaunted, the king uprooted many trees and hills with his bare hands and rushed towards Parshuram, who easily deflected them. He then proceeded to cut off each and every one of Kartavirya Arjuna's arm, and finally beheaded him as well. He was therefore put to death in front of his sons, who were 1,000 in number. Parshuram then freed the celestial cow Kamdenu and her calf, and took them home to his father's ashram. But his father was saddened to hear about the king's demise, and told his son that by killing Kartavirya Arjuna, who was an embodiment of all the demigods, he has committed a grave sin. He then instructed his son on the duty of a Brahmin, which was to cultivate the quality of forgiveness. Parshuram then performed penance and austerities as his repentance for committing the sin of killing the king. In the meantime, Kartavirya Arjun's sons were still angry at the death of their father. In an attempt to avenge him, when Parshuram and his brothers were not at the ashram, they attacked the ashram and killed Jamdagni. Hearing his mother's cries, Parshuram came running back to the ashram. Seeing his dead father, he entrusted the dead body to his brothers and took an oath to end the scourge of Kshatriyas in the world. Starting with the capital city, Parshuram set off, leaving behind a trail of terror. By the time his revenge for his father's death was complete, he had managed to rid all the Kshatriyas of the world 21 times. He had also created 9 lakes with the blood of all his victims. Thereafter, Parshuram joined his father's head to the dead body, placed it on a bed of grass, and began the worship to Lord Vishnu. Thus being worshipped by his son, and by virtue of his penance, Jamdagni was brought back to life by Lord Vishnu again. Thus Lord Vishnu restored the worldly order, as the Kshatriyas had abandoned the righteous path in their quest for power, and were blinded with passion and ignorance. Parshuram is the only Vishnu Avatar who is said to be immortal. He never returns to abstract Vishnu. He is the only Vishnu Avatar that coexists with the other avatars of Lord Vishnu, like the interactions Ram and Krishna have with him in Mahabharata and Ramayana. He is said to appear at the end of the Kali Yuga to be the Guru of Vishnu's 10th and last avatar Kalki as well.